to rejuvenate your skin. I wanted to welcome Dr. Udani with us, and she realizes that you might have some questions. And if you would like to give her a quick text, she'll be very happy to answer all of your questions. So Dr. Udani is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center, and she has some very passionate special interests in women's health, digestion, skin conditions, which is so relevant to today, but stress and chronic pain. And she loves working with individuals from all walks of life and all backgrounds, and she genuinely believes that everyone has the ability to make healthy, long-lasting changes to their health. Please help me welcome Dr. Udani.
So let's jump into today's topic, skin autophagy, 10 strategies to rejuvenate your skin. So when we think about our skin, our skin is literally the largest organ in of our body. It really protects us from outside forces, things like UV, from the sun, from that bacteria, viruses. It actually also helps us produce vitamin D, right? With the help of the sun, it helps us sweat. So that way our body's at an optimal temperature so that it's not breaking down or we're not overheating or being too cold. And it really is like the protector organ of our body, right? It holds everything together. So that's why it's really important for us to talk about skin autophagy, what increases skin aging, what can we do to reduce it, and how can we, maintain our a youthful, healthy looking skin. So let's jump right into young skin versus aging skin. So aging is a completely natural process. We all go through it, and it actually is what we are all supposed to be doing. But there's ways that we can have a healthier aging process, right? Instead of very quickly aging the skin. And so younger skin versus elderly skin tends to have, so the elderly skin or older skin tends to lose a lot of the collagen and a lot of the elastin that holds its structure. So we tend to have more wrinkles, we tend to have a little bit more deeper lines, and also it loses a bit of that volume. So then what can happen is we can have skin sagging. And a lot of this can be accelerated because of stress, inflammation, and environmental toxins as well. So if we talk about the anatomy and the physiology of our skin, so it has three main layers. So the first layer is the epidermis. So this is the topmost layer, and it acts as a protective barrier against our body and the environment. So half of the epidermis is actually 7 layers of dead skin cells. It kind of works to protect our skin against like the bacteria, the other viruses from burrowing through. And so then there's a bottom layer where the new skin cells are produced. So the turnaround of these new skin cells moving up to the topmost layer is around 28 days. So in case if you are looking for results from using a new skincare product or something like that, you really want to give it about 28 days to really show its effect on the skin. So the second layer is the dermis. This is the middle layer. And it has, it's kind of like the operation center. So it is where you have the nerves, you have the oil glands, the enzymes, the proteins, and some blood circulation there as well. And this is where the dermis is where you get the support from the collagen and the elastin for the skin to maintain its structure. And right below that is the hypodermis. And so this is where the fat, the nerves, and the blood vessels are there. And it basically helps to cushion the skin. And your oil glands are actually in your hair follicles. The root of your hair follicle is where the oil glands are. And they produce sebum, which is really important for skin because sebum helps with fighting bacteria. But too much production and inflammation can actually lead to acne. So some of the things that help us look younger is elastin. So this is a protein that helps your skin stretch and bounce back. So for example, if you look at your hand and if you do a little bit of stretching, like the skin, it should really kind of go right back. So that is because your elastin is abundant, right? But as you get older, the elastin production goes down. Same with if you're exposed to a lot of sun, it causes the elastin production to go down. So you might notice that the skin gets a little saggy. It doesn't just snap back right away. Dehydration can also make your skin look saggy because a lot of these proteins, the fibers need water to like fully activate. Let's put it that way. Collagen is, I'm sure you've heard of collagen. You know, it's everywhere these days. It's a very trendy thing. You know, taking collagen supplements, collagen capsules, things like that. So collagen is another essential protein that is like the building block of the skin's foundation. So think of collagen like the structure of the skin. It really holds everything up. So once again, sun exposure and aging can lead to too much breakdown of collagen. Same with inflammation too. Inflammation can also increase collagen breakdown. And that's why we want to really look into how can we slow this process down. The dermal epidermal junction. So this is that junction between the dermis and the epidermis, so the top layer and the middle layer. And this is where you have the network of blood vessels. So the blood vessel network is really important because that's what helps transfer nutrients into our skin. It also helps increase circulation, so increase the detox capability of skin as well. And sebum, like I mentioned, is that oily substance that is produced in the oil gland of the skin. And it actually really helps to make you waterproof your skin, keep it firm, help the bacteria. It can act like food to some of the bacteria to help it also survive and thrive as well. And the blood vessels, of course, you know, we need circulation. We need good circulation for healthy skin. We need good circulation to help with to make sure the skin is firm as well. That's why you got to drink your water. So one of the things about the skin is the pH, or which is the acidity or the alkalinity of the skin, really much matters. So your skin actually it tends to be on the more acidic side. It doesn't want, so soap, body washes, and you know, any kind of face washes tend to be more on the basic side or the alkaline side. So they tend to really strip the skin away from the fats and the oils that make the skin more acidic. So overusing some of these products can really strip the skin of its proper pH, and that can also lead to a lot of sensitivity in the skin too. That being said, you also don't want your skin to be too acidic because then that can cause inflammation and a redness. So it needs to be in this nice little perfect in the middle and the more on the acidic side. So what are some things, let's jump in to the top things that can damage skin. So these are the top 10 toxins that you can find in skincare products, in creams, lotions, hair shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, perfume that could damage the structure and lead to inflammation of the skin. So paraben, I'm sure you might have heard of that. If we go one, it's like, I just want to quickly go over these ones. So the parabens are really common in, so it's actually used to be very common, but now there is a lot of products that are, they say they're paraben free, they're phthalate free. So the parabens and phthalates tend to really disrupt your hormones. And that when these hormones are disrupted, it can increase the oiliness of the skin or reduce it and can cause issues like that. Sodium lauryl sulfate is very commonly found in body wash shampoo. It causes the lathering effect on the skin and hair, and it could be very drying and corrosive. Oxybenzone it's a chemical sunscreen, so it is a very common ingredient in many sunscreens, and it has some research on that it could actually become a cancer-causing chemical when exposed to light. Lead is a heavy metal, so it can lead to a lot of, not just on the skin, but really on deep internally, things like miscarriage, infertility, and it actually can be found in conventional lipstick brands. So that's something to really keep an eye on, because you're wearing it, and when you're eating food, drinking water, you're ingesting that. Aluminum is very commonly found in deodorant, so it's also a neurotoxin, so to be careful about. Triclosan is found in commonly in hand sanitizers, so let's you're using a lot of hand sanitizer all the time, the skin on your hand is going to absorb that. The PEF compounds are petroleum-based compounds. This can cause a lot of hormonal damage and carcinogenic issues. Hydroquinone is used as a skin lightening treatment for skin damage, acne scars, or sun damage, for example. But the thing is, if you overuse it, hydroquinone can actually cause skin darkening in darker skin tones. So it's also a chemical to be mindful of and try to avoid if possible. Formaldehyde is it's a common cosmetic ingredient. I know it sounds scary because we hear a lot of bad things about it, but it can prevent bacterial growth. So it can be found in conventional body washes, shampoos, and conditioners. So the thing with all of these toxins is, of course, it's hard for us to avoid all of them, right? Like, we cannot really be 100% free from these toxins, but at least if we know about them, we can limit our exposure to that. So when you're looking for skincare and body care products, try to avoid these chemicals and try to go for organic, natural products. Just really, really read the labels to see that they don't have any of these top 10 ingredients. So this is another one, and like the list of ingredients to avoid, some of the things we talked about. And so it's a great one to you can even print it and have it in your bathroom, or even when, let's say, your kids are doing shopping, right, for makeup, hair care products, and things like that, to kind of keep an eye on that too. So what number 2 that can damage the skin is radiation in the skin. So of course, the sun, UV radiation can really damage the DNA and can cause a lot of inflammation, and it can also break down the collagen production and the elastin production. So having proper sunscreen is really important, because I'm sure you would notice that, when there's too much sun exposure, you get that sunburn, because your skin literally is burnt from the sun. So there's a lot of inflammation happening there. So let's go to number 3, which is inflammation and skin health. So inflammation, in terms of the whole body inflammation, will definitely show up on the skin as well. And this can go from you just having really sensitive skin, where it's red, it's maybe a little swollen, itchy, to all the way to developing cystic acne or rosacea, hives, and it could be more than just having dark like under eyes, for example. So the problem is when the inflammation becomes chronic, because sometimes we all have those days, but then if it's like months at a time, the skin's going to really show it. One of the biggest things is eating an unhealthy diet, living an unhealthy lifestyle, chronic stress, and environmental factors will trigger a lot of inflammation in the body. And your skin, I always say, it's like a mirror of what's going on the inside. And so what happens when your body's faced with all of these triggers all the time is you're going to get inflammation, and chronic inflammation is going to cause gut problems, heart problems, diabetes, and a lot of even Alzheimer's and chronic health issues. So inflammation is the root, the root cause of a lot of the conditions that we deal with in today's world. And so, like I mentioned, with too much inflammation, you can get a lot of acne, puffiness, sagging skin, enlarged pores, fine lines, wrinkles. Like sometimes you might notice you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, why do I look so much older? Or why do I look like how I used to? So that means like your skin is really feeling the effects of that inflammation. So number four, things that can damage the skin is stagnation and skin health. So like I mentioned before, you really want to drink your water. You got to stay hydrated when it comes to skin health. I'm gonna drink a little more. So under ideal conditions, your skin has a beautiful cycle, right? Like I mentioned, 28 days, it renews. It's not super dry, it's not super oily, it's not itchy. There's really, you have minimal pimples, minimal eczema, psoriasis, nothing like that. The skin looks glowy and healthy. But what can happen is sometimes you can get stagnation of this cycle because of liquid plastic. So these are products designed to repair the skin and beautify your skin. But long term, this can actually work against it because it can work to like hide the pores, fill in lines, and cover brown spots. So they actually can damage the skin barrier and can cause issues downstream. The other thing is, so this is like how acne develops, because when you use a lot of these products and it clogs the pores, that oil, the oil gland doesn't have a way to be released, right? And to way to go out into the skin. So it gets stuck and bacteria feeds on the oil, causes infection, and you start to develop acne. So acne has also a hormonal factor as well, and a lot of dairy, a lot of dietary practices can increase acne. And so in under ideal conditions, like we mentioned, your skin should be in a very nice and beautiful 28-day cycle. So symptoms of skin inflammation, like I mentioned before, can be things like acne, blisters, eczema, more wrinkles than usual, age spots from the sun, rashes. So when I say skin, I don't mean just on the face, right? This is like all over the body. If you experience things like this, that means there's inflammation going on. Cracked and raw skin that may be bleeding, lots of itching, burning, stinging, oozing, redness, scaly, like really dry skin, hot, you feeling heat in that area where there is problems, and even thickening of the skin. These are all signs of skin inflammation that you really want to have a professional take a look at. So some of the foods, like I mentioned, that can damage the skin, because like I said before, your skin is a mirror of what's going on the inside. So these are the bad boys that will damage the skin, and by either increasing the inflammation, can increase acne, wrinkles, dryness, redness, and a lot of it has to do with sugar, conventional dairy, so milk, yogurt, cheese, conventionally produced ones, seed oils, so processed like vegetable oils, processed, really like highly processed oils, highly processed chocolate, soft drinks, fried foods. All of these actually can cause a lot of inflammation in the skin. So you want to avoid this as much as possible. So acne, eczema, and rashes can be worsened with conventional dairy because it can be high in growth hormones and antibiotics. So when you take a lot of it, it will increase your certain hormones that will cause acne to be formed. And so sugar is one of those things that I know we all have some trouble with resisting, but really, if you can avoid it, it is so, so, so helpful for your skin. Because what too much sugar does is it causes these, sugar actually binds to the proteins and misform them. So it causes them to become something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, that literally age you, because it can get stuck in, for example, in the collagen, and can cause the collagen to not form properly. And so that can cause more wrinkles, more sagging, and just like the skin looking older than it is. Processed vegetable oils. So we want to really avoid a lot of these bad fats, like canola oil, soybean, peanut oil, corn, safflower, grapeseed, margarine, cottonseed, hydrogenated oils, because like I mentioned before, your oil glands and the skin need good fats Otherwise, if you're constantly having the bad fats are going to create a lot of inflammation on the skin surface. So good fats, you want to have grass-fed butter, beef tallow, ghee, coconut milk, coconut oil, avocado oil is amazing, extra virgin olive oil, fish oil, eggs. And this doesn't have to be too much, if you can switch one product to a healthier product, you're going to notice a big difference in your overall body as well. Trans fats, of course, artificial trans fats, we all know by this point they can clog your arteries, they can cause really increase in inflammation, and not just in the skin, right, in your body as well. And so cutting out the trans fats is a big thing that would go a long way with skin health. Fried foods. Yes, I'm sure, you might notice that if you have a lot of fried food, first of all, you might notice you're really bloated and you're really gassy, and because it really does affect the way your liver functions as well, because your liver is the main detoxing organ in the body. And if the liver gets congested with all of this unhealthy food, it's going to show up on the skin, because the skin is a secondary organ of detoxification. So if the liver is struggling, it's going to show up on the skin. And so we really want to get to that root cause. So the sugar, the dairy, the fried food, the trans fats really need to be cut down. Highly processed chocolate. So, the chocolate, if you have dark chocolate, which is above 62%, that is actually okay. That's very good for the skin because it's a very high source of magnesium, antioxidants, and it also really makes you your serotonin. It boosts your serotonin as well. It makes you feel good. But highly processed chocolate can really strip the chocolate away from its antioxidant benefits. So what is highly processed chocolate? Think like the regular chocolate bar that you would get from the grocery store. There's not a lot of benefits in that. It's just mostly sugar, maybe dairy, lots of the artificial flavors and binders and things like that. So there's no nutritional value. I'm sure also notice that when you have it, you really crave more of it as the time goes on. So it's very addictive as well. I highly recommend try to switch to a dark chocolate. And read the label as well. The only ingredient that should have it there should be chocolate. That's how you know it is good for you. Soft drinks, of course, another one that is super high in sugar, so much sugar in soft drinks. And even if you get a sugar-free, there's artificial ingredients that can lead to skin problems. And they can also be highly caffeinated. So too much caffeine can increase your stress hormone cortisol, and cortisol can really increase your oiliness, can increase your acne, and can accelerate your aging because it also increases the collagen breakdown on the skin. And of course, coffee will dehydrate you too. Once more, we got to drink our water. So what is autophagy? So autophagy is a very natural process in the body where it really is a self-cleaning mechanism in the body. The body recycles and gets rid of the old cells that are not properly working anymore. So it helps your body to create new and healthier cells. It kind of gets rid of the weaker cells, and so that the newer cells can work much more effectively. So the major cause of the autophagy is cellular stress. So your body is always looking for that happy middle ground for survival. But when under stress, it's looking to create balance, right? So what I mean by that is it's looking at the weaker parts and trying to get rid of those weaker cells. Because when your body is experiencing lack of nutrients, so in the case of intermittent fasting, for example, right, you're fasting for an extended period of time, your body is going to look at which cells can use the ingredients most effectively. So if you think about all the cells as workers, which workers are working with the most efficiently, and which were the ones that are using too much of the resources, just sitting around, they're lazy, they're not really working that well. So autophagy looks to kick those workers out and just keep the ones that are working well. And that's what we want, because those cells or the workers that are not working optimally, they tend to increase a lot of the inflammation in the body. So these are the top 5 benefits of autophagy. So let's talk about them. So basically, one of the things is, like I said, it gets rid of the senescent cells, which are the ones that are not really working optimally. It increases your mitochondrial health. So mitochondria are these little factories in our cells that increase energy. So when we have deprivation of nutrients, the factories need to be more efficient at making sure whatever the nutrients we have, we can use the most out of it, or get the most out of it. So that's why it's going to improve the mitochondrial health, eliminates viral infected cells, because a lot of the cells that are infected with bacteria and viruses, they don't work as well, right? So when you have when your body is in the state of autophagy, it's going to make those cells, the clearance of those cells, much better. It reduces cellular apoptosis, so it helps with cutting down the excess death of certain cells and kind of preserves the ones that are working really well. Creates stronger and more stress resilient and body and mind. So the thing with today's world, our society, is we are actually overeating. So I'm not sure if you know, but now there's the obesity, overweight has surpassed world hunger as the #1 health risk. So we actually have too much to eat. So, and when we have too much to eat, our bodies are not getting rid of the cells that don't work as well. Right? They're keeping those cells. The inflammation is still there. So that's why doing intermittent fasting in a healthy way can really jumpstart the body's detox process, like such as autophagy. So some of the strategies to rejuvenate the skin. #1, okay, optimizing your hydration levels. Please try to drink water. So how do we know? So you want to make sure you get pure filtered water. So things like reverse osmosis or distilled water. If that's not possible for you, at least boil the water and use a good filter to make sure that all the other particles are not there. You want to wake up with water. So drink at least 8 to 16 ounces of water within the first 20 minutes of waking. Try to drink a room temperature water, so that way it's not completely shocking your body and your digestive system. This really jumpstarts the digestive system and the circulation. You want to drink continuously. So throughout the day, like for myself, I have a water bottle within my eyesight. Dr. Justine has water bottles in every room because she's so busy. But she has something there that when she wants it, it's there. Flavor your water. If you don't like the taste of water, you can add a little bit of, let's say, fruit into it, some vegetable, like things like cucumbers. You can even add some lemon. You can add a little bit of Himalayan salt just to add some of the electrolytes. And also think water first. Even when you're hungry, most of the time you might just be thirsty. So drink water first and see if you're still hungry. And of course, when you're drinking water, you also want to keep in mind that you're not drinking a lot of alcohol and coffee, because alcohol and coffee will make you go pee more. So you're actually going to be more dehydrated. Second strategy is having lots of anti-inflammatory diet, lots of high in trace minerals. So, things like for our skin, for our hair, our nails, and just the whole body, we need those trace minerals because they're the backbone of a lot of these biochemical pathways. So you want to have celery, carrots, cucumber. They're really high in trace minerals. Same with things like kale, zinc-rich foods. Zinc is very important for healing the skin of any wounds. And so grass-fed meat, pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught seafood, pumpkin seeds are really high in zinc that you can have. Eating healthy fats, so avocado, olives, coconut oil, like I mentioned. Bone broths are a great way to get the collagen protein into your diet. And you want to avoid the sugar, the processed foods, the vegetable oils, the fried foods. #3 is trying intermittent fasting and occasional extended water fasting. So one of the things I will preface about intermittent fasting is if you are stressed or if you are chronically stressed right now, do not try to do not try to go overboard and do a really long intermittent fasting, because even when you're sleeping and you get, let's say, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, at that time you are technically fasting because you're not having any water or food. So if you're stressed and so then at that point you really want to just start at an 8 hour fast, maybe increase it to 10 hours, and then work yourself up to 12 hours instead of trying to do a complete 16 hours of fasting, for example. And within that time period of eating, you're still eating a regular amount of food that you would if you weren't fasting. So the benefits of fasting is that you're cutting out the snacking, right? So you're only eating at a certain period of time. So it really makes your body be more efficient, and it can stimulate fat burning. It can reduce inflammation. It takes the stress off the digestive system because you're not snacking and you're not having a bunch of meals throughout the day. So it can actually digest the food that you are doing, eating much better. Stimulates autophagy, which we want, and it gives your body time to repair your genes, stimulate the genetic repair mechanisms, enhance mental health, and you can even experience spiritual growth and intuition when you fast, because you are really kind of honoring your body and trusting the process that it's going through. Strategy 4 is alternating showers, so cold and hot showers. So this is, one of those things that I love doing, actually, especially when I want a pick me up in the morning, or if I'm really feeling like my skin needs a good detoxing. Doing an alternating hot shower and cold shower really helps to increase circulation in the skin, excuse me, and boost your skin's detoxing abilities. And when you end the shower with a cold, so how you do this is you do 2 to 3 minutes of hot, then 30 seconds of cold. And then you do one more cycle of the hot, and then 30 seconds of cold, and then one more of the hot, and then you finish the shower with the cold. So that really helps to boost your immune system, stimulate your fat burning, tightens the skin and closes the pores, and can really, really have an improvement on your mood. Strategy 5 is regular exercise. Of course, you want to make sure that we are moving, we are improving our strength, improving circulation. When you're exercising, we're really stimulating the lymphatic drainage. So if you notice that you wake up with really puffy under eyes or your face feels puffy, go for a walk, do some movements, even things like skipping rope or going to using the trampoline can really help with lymphatic drainage. And of course, movement really helps with reducing stress and tension in the body, improves your mood and happiness, and can really increase your mental clarity and memory. So at least 30 minutes a day, if you can have some kind of movement, go for a walk in the neighborhood or even do some strength training. That will go a long way. Number 6 is get outside and the good sun exposure. So really happy that the summer is coming, spring is coming. We are all going to be, enjoying the sun, and we really need sun exposure for our mood, for our mental health, and also for our skin as well. The skin produces vitamin D with exposure to sun, and the skin actually is the most efficient way that your body produces vitamin D. Yes, you can get vitamin D from food, from supplements, but when it's produced in the skin, that is like it's directly in the circulation. Whereas with supplements and diet, sometimes it takes they don't get absorbed as easily. Number 7 is good sleep and stress reduction. So I'm sure, when you had a bad sleep, your skin looks it. You got the dark circles, your skin might look a little shallow and saggy. So having a good night's sleep is so important. And here are some of the tips. You really, really want to avoid coffee at least 8 hours before sleeping. Coffee is a stimulant, so it's going to keep you up. So you don't want that to affect and because it increases your cortisol, it's going to keep you up more. So you don't want that to stop you from having good sleep. Get sun exposure during the day, because when you have a lot of sun exposure, it actually increases your melatonin at nighttime. So that's really good. You want to start winding down. So start having a ritual a bedtime ritual where, you start winding down by around 9 o'clock if you're trying to get to bed around 10:30. Avoiding bright light after sunset, so you can wear blue light blocking glasses or have those screens on your phone and your computer that blocks too much blue light, because the blue light blocks melatonin production. And you do want to exercise regularly, but not too late at night, because the exercise is going to, once again, stimulate you. And keep your room as dark as possible. So have those light blocking curtains, or you can even use a sleep mask to help that way. Number 8 is autophagy and enhancing herbs. So these are some herbs to add into your diet regularly. So things like quercetin, this is very commonly found in red onions, cranberries, apples, elderberries. Ginger, one of my favorite herbs, so good for digestion, for detoxing, and it's just full of anti-inflammatory molecules and compounds. Same with curcumin or turmeric. Resveratrol is found in berries, grapes, and red wine. ECGC, which is found in green tea, dark chocolate, like I mentioned. So, and same with citrus bergamot. Carnosic acid, which is found in oregano, sage, and rosemary. They really help increase the autophagy and also increase the antioxidant capacity of the body. So try to have one or more of these every day. So for example, what I do is I love to have ginger in my tea. So I have two things in one go. I have my green tea, and then I have some ginger in there. Or I might add some things like lemon as well. So curcumin, these are some of the supplements as well. So curcumin, it can help with reducing inflammation. Ginger is a potent superfood. Boswellia is another amazing herb, so frankincense. And quercetin, like I mentioned, can help with the immune response and can really go a long way. So one of the things I want to mention with these supplements is you really want to get you want to ask a health professional such as myself first before being on a supplement, because a supplement is a stronger, more potent version of the herbs you could eat, right? So let's say if you have any underlying conditions like high blood pressure or digestive issues, or are you taking other medications, we just want to make sure that you're taking it in a safe way without any interactions. Number 10 is proper skincare. So what to avoid to rejuvenate your skin. So try to avoid long hot showers, because too much heat will open up your pores and can actually increase the redness, the swelling. Soap-free cleansing bars. So these are things to also that could really strip your skin. Anything with alcohol and perfumes can, once again, strip your skin, make you super dry, kind of really affect the skin barrier. Lanolin-based creams, lotions, and ointments, toxic ingredients that we learned about in one of the earlier slides as well. And how do we rejuvenate your skin? So you do want to have diet, and that is foundation. Nutrient-dense diet. Drink plenty of fluids to stay hydrated. So one of the things how much water you need is generally it's half your body weight in ounces is what you need to drink every day. Avoiding alcohol, sugary drinks, and the sodas, right? You want to drink, instead of that, you want to drink more of the water. You can keep your home cool and humid to avoid any over drying of skin. So that can make your eczema worse, your psoriasis worse, itchiness worse if it's too cool and not as humid. You want to wear gloves in the cold weather, sunblock, protective clothing in the hot weather. You can wear cotton clothes because they're very much more breathable. So there's lack of bacterial overgrowth with that. You want to use natural mild detergents, avoiding too much perfume right immediately after taking a shower, because that's when your skin, the pores are really open. So you don't want too many toxic ingredients on the skin. One of my favorite things is I personally use coconut oil. I put like a few drops of lavender essential oil in there, and that's what I use for my body as a moisturizer, and it's been really great. But even with those things, you want to just do a little patch test first to make sure that your skin isn't going to react negatively. And moisturizers, like I mentioned, you want to use natural oils, like even olive oil. Coconut oil, shea butter can be really great to protect the moisture barrier of your skin. So in summary, so there was a lot of information there. And so I always just want to reiterate that your skin is the largest organ. It serves as a protective layer. We want to protect it. And your skin health it shows what's going on the inside. So skin is a mirror of what's happening on the inside. So we really want to calm down that inflammation. Skin is an amazing organ because it produces vitamin D. It regulates your temperature. It helps you detox. And taking care of your skin is really important with a lot of the things that we mentioned. So even if you just adapt one thing a day, for example, drinking more water, right? That's going to really build up on top of each other and go a long way. And so these are the simple strategies that can really help you rejuvenate your skin, and you can experience some visible benefits from that. It was so lovely to talk to all of you, and I hope that you join us and connect with us for future talks. And if you have any feedback or any other talk ideas, we'd love to hear from you as well. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Dr. Udani, for a great talk this evening. Have a great evening, everyone.
Take care.